Hello, my name is Brian Cronin and I work with Petroskills and I teach the Deepwater Turbidites Depositional Systems and Reservoirs class. One of a series of classes we now run with outcrop based teaching as well as classroom teaching. I'd like to go through some of the main objectives of the class and who the class is designed for, and give you a flavour for some of the places that we go to and the sort of things that we try to achieve on the classes in the teaching. Let's just start off then. The Deepwater Turbidites class is designed for geologists and geophysicists and petrophysicists and reservoir engineers. In fact, anybody really involved in the subsurface characterization of deepwater clastic systems. So it's a 7-day long class. We have 3 different field versions of the class. So it starts off with about 3 days in the classroom or 3.5 days in the classroom, either in Nice on the Côte d'Azur in the south of France, or in Ireland, in the west of Ireland, which is a little bit different, or in Southern California, based in Central California, based in Monterey. So as a class, we meet up there. We spend our first few days going through the theory of deepwater processes and the products of deepwater processes, underwater avalanches and turbidity currents and debris flows, and related types of processes. And then we think about the products of these different flows. So we look at the sandstones and conglomerates with reservoir potential and the types of morphology and expression of these deposits on the deep sea floor. And then we think about the reservoir characterization of each of these elements. So it's a theoretical, class-based environment to start off with, to get everybody up to the same level. So that type of classroom environment gets us all going, and the sort of prerequisites you might need for a class like that, really you need to have it's an intermediate level class within Petroskills. So I'd recommend that you have a decent background in geology, certainly a working knowledge of deepwater, turbidite, deepwater environment fields, either that you've worked on or that you're about to work on before you start the class. We often have reservoir engineers on the class and wireline engineers. It's normally a slightly more hardcore geology focused class. Let's face it, it's a field class. So those are the general prerequisites. And I would recommend a degree of physical fitness, because particularly on the Nice version of the class, the French version, we do walk up the parts of the French maritime Alps. We go up to altitudes of about 3,000 meters, 9,000 feet or so, and some of these walks are many tens of kilometers. The Irish version in the west of Ireland is not so hardcore, but again you need to be used to regular physical exercise, so I would strongly recommend that. And with not wanting to scare you, but certainly a field geologist has to have these basic abilities. As a summary to the technical content of the course, we aim to provide a fairly unique opportunity to examine modern and ancient and subsurface examples of deepwater systems. So one of the things that we bring to bear in the class is the images and data that we have from the modern seafloor. So we integrate a lot of side scan sonar data and modern gravity cores and other types of shallow seismic data, things like that, to try to resolve some of the real shapes and the reservoir properties, potential reservoir properties of deepwater systems. And then we take that into the outcrop examples and of course directly into how you might work with similar geobodies in the subsurface and reservoirs. So everything that we do in the class really is focused on reservoir application. In the theoretical section of the class, it isn't just downloading didactic types of teaching. We use a lot of exercises, so I have wireline correlation exercises and seismic screen dump interpretations of different types of deepwater reservoir element, and other types of subsurface and outcrop based exercises in the classroom to help focus the mind and using data from different locations. So we have examples of fields from the North Sea, from the Bray Trend, from the South Viking Graben, the Upper Jurassic Age reservoirs. And we also look at West Africa fields and North Africa fields off the Nile Delta, and examples from the deepwater Caribbean, Bay of Bengal and South China Seas, and many other locations. So globally, including the Gulf of Mexico. And globally, we cover pretty much the whole range of reservoir styles that you might be prepared to focus on. So the run of the field trips, whether you're based in Ireland, in Kilkee, or in Nice, we move on from Nice after the theoretical part of the course into small hotels in the Maritime Alps, or in Monterey, where we're based in Monterey for the whole duration of the course. Depending on the weather in Ireland, we alternate between classroom and field stops. But it's pretty much a half and half. So it's 3.5 days or 4 days of theory, followed by 3 days in the field. There are a number of different focuses of each of the trips, but the basic exercises and theory, etc., are more or less the same. So that's about it. In Petroskills, we are trying to incorporate and onboard more field courses, and this particular class, Deepwater Turbidites, is one of them. We also have, and I run field components to a number of other classes, which you can hear about at a later stage on a different webinar perhaps. Things like outcrop dissimulation, where we take a whole range of people of different backgrounds to exposures in the Spanish Pyrenees, and we measure data in the field, and then we go and look at the cores from behind the outcrops, which are below the hotel we stay in. We do a core workshop, and then we go and develop some static models, and then we develop dynamic models from that. So it's a whole suite of the workflow from prospect to value, which is a different type of trip. And there are a number of other trips that we're coming on board. So that was just my overview of one of the classes that we provide at least 3 times a year on the public schedule through Petroskills. And hopefully maybe you'll come along or have a further look online and see what other information we have to hand. Thank you.